And we are live. It's Wednesday. It's noon Eastern Time. It is the High Noon Hemp Show. A big day for many reasons. April Fool's Day, of course, and the beginning of the month of 420. Big, big month. A different month than many people thought it was going to be, but it is here
Yeah, right.
nonetheless. We are, of course, we're live on Facebook, the Temptations Beach Facebook page, also on the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel, and on Twitter at Temptations. The podcast, the audio version, of course, Podbean, Google Play, iHeartRadio, many, many platforms for you to find us on. I am Joe Clare. He is the man himself, Beach. High above the Temptations in Sharonville at the Hemp Quarters. Beach, how are things in the world of Temptations?
Pleasantly isolated, I would say. High above the hemp quarters here in Sharonville. Hemptations is moving along. You know, we're doing the best we can with the kind of a bare bones employee lineup. But I think that we've definitely seen people social distancing the best that they can and whatnot. And so um, we're still trying to do our thing. I will have to say that our customers think we're essential because they keep showing up for things that they need. Uh,
Absolutely.
that is for sure. If not the CBD, many of our other goods. In fact, I got in a little spat with this guy. This guy called us out on Twitter saying that we weren't essential.
Right.
And I listed the products that we have that make us essential. The food, the water, supplements, things like that. And he comes back and he says, he basically called me a liar. He said, I've been in the store a dozen times. I've never seen any water. And so um, I do have, when we do the product spotlight, I'll show the picture of all of the water that we do in fact have in the stores. And so I thought that that was kind of I thought it was interesting. This guy was trying to call us out, and he's not very observant. I
And
let
he
him know
sounds
that,
bored.
and he sounds really bored, I suppose. And what was interesting is that he hashed or at signed WLUT like they had mentioned that we were essentials, but I couldn't find anything saying anything about the news talking about us being open or deemed essential. So I thought that was kind of weird that he was like called us out in the news station about us and there was one other business he mentioned and I don't even remember what it was, but
He wants him to
anyway.
cover this very important story.
That's right. Very important. Company needs to come down on what is and what isn't essential, I
Yes,
suppose, at this
look into
point.
that. Make sure there's water at Temptations. Let's send a crew down to get
Yeah,
the
that's right.
the lowdown.
Make sure there's food on the shelf, soap, cleaning materials, um, supplements that help people. Yeah, right. Anyway, it's I thought that was quite funny. Someone was trying to call us out about not being essential. I will say that our customers definitely believe that we are essential. They are, we see less. It's usually just individuals coming in. We see a lot less people coming in groups and whatnot. But they come in, they get what they need, and they get out because they need it. Pure and simple. And so, just want to remind everyone, kind of a weird, times anyway, but the Ohio Department of Agriculture is still taking hemp license applications until May. So if you plan on growing hemp in Ohio, you still have another month. The Ohio program has been approved by the USDA for the new program. I'm going to talk a little bit about that in the news as well later in the show. And I do want to mention it one more time because I'm just so tickled green about it. We were, in fact, if you didn't watch last week, we were, in fact, named the best of Cincinnati green sustainable stores. And so I would have to say that if there was an honor that I have been fighting for 24 years, it would be to be voted the best green sustainable store in the Cincinnati area. And so They announced it last Wednesday. If you watched last Wednesday, I talked about it there as well. But I'm just excited, honestly. This is one of the greatest honors I think the stores have ever received. And so we've been fighting for green for a long time. And it's nice to be. It is nice
Uh-oh.
to be recognized. I know, right? I don't know how I don't have that on. Turned everything off, but I have a new unit in my office, and so it's actually connected to the phone downstairs. So every once in a while it rings. It's weird. Anyway, when you hear that, know someone is calling the Sharonville location.
Right.
And so every time that rings, someone gets some hemp in their life. Um, um, so anyway, again, super excited. Oh wow, man, they're late.
Yeah, they're 6 minutes late.
I mean, even 6 minutes. Maybe the guy didn't show up for work. He forgot. He's just staying isolated at home. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, it's Wednesday, first Wednesday of the month. I got to get the alarms out." I haven't even heard them here, right? I haven't heard them here yet, or maybe I'm not sure. I can hear them there though. It's true.
They're very loud.
The alarms are going off. That's the announcement that Hemptations is the best green sustainable store in Ohio region, Cincinnati, I should say, Cincinnati area. And speaking of that, let's get right to the product spotlight, where I do 4 from the store and 1 from my door. That's right. So we take 4 products from the store, and then I show you a personal item from my own hemp collection. This week from the store, I've definitely designing it to be COVID-19 friendly items, I would say. The first one being the high flyers. These are the Planet Everywhere high flyers. I saw something on the news today. This is interesting. Not only did they have a hotline, if people are gathering somewhere, then you're supposed to call this hotline. But they did make it, they said that it was okay if people were out at the park, I suppose, social distancing. So I thought a throwing item, something where you had to stand far away from the person you were with to play with it, would also be social distancing. So these are the high flyers. They're soft, so they're easy to catch, and the kids can play with them too, and all that good stuff. So if you want to get outside and play a little bit, get yourself a hemp high flyer. I wouldn't call it essential, but I would call it fun. The next one is the pet goods. I just kind of took a picture of the generic, what we've got in stock in Sharonville with the pet goods. Obviously, more people are at home with their pets now. And so you're looking for something to occupy you with your pets. We definitely have a good selection of pet toys. In fact, I need to do a little order there. Some of the stuff we need. And so if you're bored at home with the pets during the isolation times, there you have some pet goods. Some fun stuff you can play with. The next one is the water. This is our refrigerators are pretty much only have basically water in them. Most of it is sparkling water, flavored water with CBD. There's some stuff that actually has hemp oil added to it. But we do have water, I suppose, for the sake of if you really needed some water. This could save your life. And these are in every stores, maybe not in this type of cooler. Maybe he's walked past the refrigerator in another location and didn't realize that the refrigerator had stuff in it. I don't know. But there you have it. It is true. Hemptations does have water. And then I did also take, this is kind of just a generic picture of one of the soap shelves. And so this is our selection of soaps, from the Dr. Bronner's to the Yanal Ali, to some other brands. The ones on the third shelf down there, those are actually locally made soaps. And then everybody's heard of Dr. Bronner's for the most part, because they've been making hemp soap for a long time. And so, the big thing is keeping your hands clean these days. And of course, we have of soap available to make that easy for you to do. And the one from my door is actually, I just got this because I'm hoping to get out on my bike soon. It got cold again. But this is actually basically like a bike seat pocket. So it goes up underneath, it attaches up underneath my seat. And as you can see, it zips open so you can, put some stuff in there and have a little trunk. It's a tiny little hemp trunk for my bike. Um, and so hopefully I'll be getting out on the old bike soon to enjoy the good weather. And, I think that's a pretty good way to stay 6 feet away from people. If I'm on my bike, do not approach me. Do not ride your bike within 6 feet of my bike. So there you have it. 4 from the store, 1 from my door. Product Spotlight.
Which, of course,
once again,
brings us to
that's right.
maybe something that people don't find as important these days. But no matter what's happening, does fashion really ever go out of style? Of course not. Plus, with this, you have the added bonus with the beach giving you what for facial expression. So that's a little added.
I do. I do
We
kind of.
ask the most important question of the day: what are you wearing beach? And let beach give you what for.
That's right. Even if you're isolated and you're not getting out, but you still am curious as to what you should be wearing right now.
Get dressed.
Get dressed. Or don't get dressed. It's all right. It doesn't matter. But if you're asking, what are you wearing, Beach? Now you'll know. It's kind of a military uh, outfit for sure, with my Hempies, what they would call a Che Guevara kind of hat, I guess. Excuse me. My Satori zip up hoodie. And then, I've got this kind of, my Make Hemp Not War. And that was kind of my best, Uncle Sam pointing kind of thing, even though my face is kind of like just a tad angry, maybe. No, that's do the right thing face, I suppose.
You're angry about war.
And
It's a horrible thing.
that's right. It's true. We don't need it. We should make more hemp, and I will make a reference to the military making more hemp in the news part. So stay tuned, because my shirt is also a tag into some news that just came out this week. You can see my I camouflage cargo pants, and if you look closely, you can also see my Green Spring Technologies pen in my pocket, as always. A classic head case boxer briefs. I believe the socks that I have here came from Hemp Authority, possibly. I don't remember positively. And then I've got my wicked hemp boots, bringing this militant outfit all together on this. It's kind of, in my sense, it's kind of an April Fool's. Me dressing kind of military-like is different. Might as well be a Halloween costume. As I always said, I'm against war, but I am pro-soldier. So we support our troops,
Indeed.
but we hope that they never have to actually kill anyone. And so anyway, there you have it. If you woke up today and you were wondering, it's the whole month of 420. What are you wearing, Beach? Well, now you know. Make hemp, not war, for the first month of 420. Speaking of the whole month of 420, we're going to go segment here. I guess the big news is I cough the everyday sale. I thought that it would be irresponsible of us to actually have a sale every day on what could be deemed non-essential goods, i.e. anything 420 friendly. I know that a lot of people may argue with me as to whether those are essential or not. That's for sure. But I didn't want to encourage people to be out more than they needed to. We are still going to have the 420 to Earth Day sale, hoping that, hopefully by then, things will have calmed down a little bit. But, even if how many people are in the store at a time and whatnot, because it is the biggest day of the year for us, without a doubt. Um, we'll figure out how to do that. But I did, I was very, very much looking forward to having a sale item every day. Um, I also have a song that I was writing that I should have had ready for today's show either way. Um, but I will see if I can finish that up and get that out to everyone. I'll definitely have it done by next week's show. I should have had it today, in all honesty, but I kind of flaked on that. And so anyway, I will get back to working on that. I think it was a pretty fun idea either way for the month of 420. But again, we will be doing our 420 Earth Day sale this year. And we do have more items online. I forgot to mention that. I've been adding more items to the online site if you want to go there. And yeah, so that's that for now. I have created for you. Because I've been paying attention to these things for a while. I am the culture entity. If you don't know that, music, TV shows, movies, all that. And I have acquired over the years, honestly, little clips of them mentioning hemp. And so I put them together for your viewing pleasure. So here is 2 minutes and 42 seconds of quite a bit mentioning hemp in social pop culture.
People, our search is over. On this site we shall build a new town, where we can worship freely, govern justly, and grow vast fields of hemp for making rope and blankets.
Hell, before it all got legalized, our people were growing hemp for the whole country. Now, you remember those stories?
But unlike Utah, it was eventually made livable when the university was founded in 2636.
They planted traditional college foliage, ivy, trees, hemp. Soon the whole planet was terraformed.
I want to buy you a new bike, so if you just tell me the make and the model number, I'm happy
That's
to
very
do that.
kind of you, Miss Tier, but that's not a bike that can be replaced. It was a gift from a nonprofit environmental group in recognition of my work here. Name engraved on it, custom seat, cool lock, eco-friendly hemp basket.
Okay, then we'll track
I
it down.
really live in the woods. Yeah. We're farmers. We grow organic fruits, vegetables, hemp.
So is it true you can make all kinds of shirts and ropes out of hemp?
Dave's not here, man.
I also heard hemp makes great shampoo.
It does?
I like rope. Real rope. I like the feel of it. Smell that. Burmese hemp. Best rope in the world. You can do anything with it.
Consequently now, no cadet can receive a passing grade for the academic year without first conquering this. Meet the Eliminator. That's a 150-foot hand-over-hand crawl across a 60-gauge hemp jute line with a blister factor of 12.
Binoculars, yes. Walkies. Yes, binoculars, walkies, hemp rope. Is there by chance a hemp rifle in there?
Everyone, I found a cure for super lice. Finally!
That's great.
I'm not a hero, Tina. I'm just doing my job.
I didn't call you a hero.
Oh, I thought you did.
I get to go first. Then I want a reward for being brave, like a smoothie or a Prius.
So, it's quick, all natural, but pretty cutting edge.
Bring on this wonder drug. It's probably hemp.
Rich, he's wearing hemp.
He certainly is. I mean, who wears hemp other than rich men and medieval peasants?
Oh, look, it's Woody Harrelson.
I can't believe those pants are made entirely out of hemp.
And there's
Road trip.
We'll have road trip. Hemp bus has been traveling all over the country.
Hop on the road trip.
oh, hemp.
There you go. Very nice.
And there you have it, folks. A little cameo by me. I just wanted to throw that in there for my time being on the hemp road trip. Because I did make the hemp road trip trailer. Go hemp. I love that at the end. That's from Kicking and Screaming. If you don't know, Will Ferrell movie. She's driving a big Hummer, and he's in a Prius. Anyway, it's good stuff. Good stuff indeed. Obviously, and I think the one from Psych where he says hope, and then just says, "Is there perhaps a hemp rifle in there?" Thought that was great. That's some good stuff there. So there's a fun little clip. I don't know if I can post that. They may, I guess if I post it and say I don't own any of those clips, they may keep it up. I don't know. It's hard to say, but I will try to go ahead and just post that little video on the Facebook page just to see if they'll allow me to keep it up there, so you can go back and view it any time that you want to.
Yeah, if they don't like it, they'll let you know. They'll send you.
Yeah, it's true.
Mute your audio.
I'll even try to post it on. Yeah, I bet YouTube may not let me, but it's hard to say. It's hard to say. And I also want to mention on top of that, as I have heard a couple references to CBD in the movie Long Shot with Seth Rogen. At the beginning of the movie, he's walking down the hall with his buddy, and his buddy is like telling his secretary to mix him up a Red Bull with CBD in it. And then Damian Marley, one of, if not my favorite, Marley child, I should say, he does a song with Ja Cure called Marijuana, but in the song, Ja clearly says CBD medicine to me. And so we're already seeing CBD as well making references in pop culture on top of talking about hemp and that kind of stuff. And so it's kind of interesting, obviously. And, that's how big and how long it's been around, folks. I was excited to see that someone had actually come up with an antibacterial sanitizer with hemp in it. It was 70% alcohol, which is what they recommend as, I think, one of the lower percentages, but it's still safe enough, or has enough that it kills most of everything. Ironically, it's not. It's infused with CBD. And so I don't know why you would, obviously it's good. CBD is good for your hands. If you had arthritis, then it would be awesome to use this hand sanitizer with CBD. But in all honesty, it's kind of, once again, a waste of CBD. Just put some hemp oil in there and try to figure out how you can make that work, please. And so, I was excited for a minute, and then I was like, well, that's a bummer. So hopefully somebody will actually come out with, and I am sure someone is trying to formulate a hemp. Somebody should answer the phone, right? A hemp hand sanitizer, because that would be great. But I haven't seen that. Yeah, let's see. Oh, I mentioned this earlier. My shirt, Make Hemp Not War. Well, ironically, right now the U.S. military and researchers at the University of Wisconsin are discussing making a hemp fiber to replace imported polyester and polymers in Army vehicles. They're looking into clothing, ropes, straps, anything like that, which some military clothing before World War II was in fact made from hemp. Parachutes were made from hemp. And so, excuse me again. And so that's gonna, all that's really gonna prove is yes, hopefully they'll prove that hemp is good for that. The one thing that is interesting about this is that it is in Wisconsin. Wisconsin was a producer of industrial hemp, and I believe the last legal industrial hemp farm was in Wisconsin after the country had made it illegal. And so, they are primed to grow for fiber. The northern latitudes, the higher the states are, the better, my understanding is, for the fiber. And so, it would be great to see the military serving contracts, replacing cotton. Cotton is a terrible fiber to send soldiers out into, as far as clothing wise goes. It is tough to compete with synthetic fiber when it comes to rope strength, in all honesty, but hemp rope can still be strong enough to serve the purpose that it needs. And so it didn't ever need to be no rope. And again, if you look at any natural rope on any naval vessel today, it's hemp. And the only reason that people have switched over is probably newer products, because again, synthetic fiber is stronger than hemp fiber. It's not natural though. Okay, it's not natural. That's right. Hemp fiber is very strong and it is natural. And so we'll definitely see with the automobile stuff, because we're already see automobile companies using it. And so as long as they can do it, they're not talking about making any armor out of it, I don't believe. Although it would be very interesting to see if they can't make some type of fabric that does work as a suppressor, so to speak, of any type of fire. Because it would be great to know that hemp is keeping our soldiers safe wherever they are, as well. That would be great. I would love to see that, because again, the military was using hemp all the way up until World War II. If you don't know, the parachute that George Bush Sr. Parachute out of his airplane in World War II saved his life was made out of hemp. That's a fact. The ropes that pulled him up on the boat that saved his life were made out of hemp. And so lest us not forget, that history has proven that this is actually good for our military. If we have to have a military, then this can benefit. And again, we can benefit the nature by not drilling for oil and making synthetic fibers. We can support the hemp growing industry in the United States. And I would love to see a huge, that's a lot of fiber if they've got to serve a military contract out. And so that's a lot of fiber being grown, and a lot less bad stuff being done if they do that. So I'm looking forward to seeing the results on that data out there. Again, it'll probably be a couple years from the University of Wisconsin, but we'll see. And again, it may be sooner than later, so we can get the military doing it. It looks like roughly we have 11 states that have been approved through the USDA's program. This is the interesting part, is we have 20 states that are actually going to use the old pilot program guidelines, because they know that the USDA guidelines actually send them backwards. And so, this is what I would call a peaceful protest by the growers. And then these are the big states. Again, these are the states that have been involved, and they know that if Kentucky being one, if they adopt the USDA regulations, it will send them backwards. And so you're going to use the pilot program regulations, which is completely legal, in order to regulate their hemp farming this year. And so almost twice as many states are going to use the old, because the new needs to be changed. And again, a big part of that, and I'll keep saying it until there's no mention of the DEA in the USDA guidelines, but that's a big part of it, because there's a lot again, there's no DEA involvement in the pilot program, except for, I think, filing to get the seeds taken off the controlled substance list, which I suppose they would still have to do. I don't know how that's going to work. Again, I guess you can maybe do an amalgamation of both, supposedly. But anyway, there's a lot less mention of the DEA being involved. Either way, even if they have to get the seeds approved by the DEA and taken off to be grown, it's still only one step. Whereas in the USDA program and the DEA, it's like the processing has to be done through the DEA, blah, blah, blah. Even though they suspended that for a year, there is too much DEA involvement. So that's why a lot of these states are basically peacefully protesting the USDA regulations on hemp and using the old federal pilot program guidelines to do their hemp. There are 7 states that have no plans. There's some states that they don't know what's going on, I suppose, and so they're still working it out. And then, of course, 2 states, Mississippi and Idaho, which have not legalized industrial hemp. And so I just think it's very interesting. And again, this should be a testament to the USDA. And I think the USDA is starting to get on board with and listening to these farming states that have grown a lot of industrial hemp, because they're now talking about how the DEA has too much involvement in this. And so hopefully within a year or two, the USDA guidelines will be changed. We're going to have to wait another 4 or 5 years for a farm bill to, and again, they can do it any way they want. They're setting up the program, and so there's no reason why they can't. And I think, the goal is to have it no different than corn or soybean or cotton or any other crop, where you just go down to the feed mill, you get your grain, you grow your crop, and you walk away. There shouldn't be any DEA involvement. There really shouldn't be too much special licensing and special fees and all that. None of that should really exist for industrial hemp. None of it. All of that stuff makes it still seem like it's criminalized. Still seems like there's something wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with growing hemp. There's nothing wrong with it. That's my Stripes thing. I don't know why that is, but there's something very, very wrong with you. If you think that hemp should be treated any differently than corn, soybean, cotton, or any other agricultural crop, that the farmer does not have to jump through any hoops, no ladders to be climbed, not as many I's to be dotted, all that stuff. Just do it. So we're still working towards that, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Last thing I have in the news, we'll get you guys on your way, is Ghana is the latest African country to legalize hemp. So I'm going to have to go check the African map, the continent of Africa, and see. But I know a lot of countries are starting to slowly but surely legalize hemp farming in those countries. So that's Africa is huge. It could be a lot of hemp. That is for sure. As you can see, there are no events. Normally I would talk about hemp-related events that are going on across the world, but basically everything is canceled. Just plan on that for probably at least another month, I would say. I think once we get into May, we may see some stuff trying to happen. People may take as long as possible. I think that's a socially responsible thing to do, is to take as long as possible. Take a year off. Don't, I know we all want to get back to whatever normal was to normal again, but I think that the longer we take to do that, the better off we are, in all honesty. It is what it is, and we are in unprecedented times. You can go to hemptations.com for stuff. There is a link there to shop online if you want to shop online, so you don't have to go out and buy stuff. If there's anything that you as a consumer know that we have in the store and you would like me to ship to you, please let me know. I don't have any questions right now, but as everybody knows, I try to end the show with a Ask Beach Anything segment, but I haven't really had too many questions recently. If you have a question, email me at hemptations@yahoo.com, and I will be happy to try and answer all the questions that I get, even if they're not hemp related. Maybe you've got a non-hemp related question that I may be able to answer. I don't know. I'm good at answering hemp questions. I should say I'm pretty great at answering hemp questions. I'm good at answering all other questions. And so, that is what it is. Welcome, everyone, to 420 all month long. Celebrate that. We can't get as excited as we wanted to about it because of the isolation factors that we're going through. And everybody's having a hard time with April Fools making jokes right now. No, but if you come up with a good one, feel free to use it. But it seems like a really weird time to even enjoy April Fools. In all honesty, so we'll call it. We'll call it 420. 420 is here for a whole month, and so we'll do our part to enjoy it as much as we hope you do your part to enjoy it. And remember, reduce, reuse, recycle, make everything else out of hemp. Having Hemptations.
See y'all next week.